What's going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and day one of the draft is over. We do now have firm, set in stone results of what all the teams did in the first round, and so there were some things that I was definitely wrong about. Right off the bat, I thought that the Dolphins were going to trade up. In some capacity, they did not. In fact, the only trade that they made was back. That was later on in the round, but the only trade that they made was back. So credit to them for not doing that, not selling mortgaging the farm to move up to the number one spot or anything like that. They stayed put at number 5. At number 5, they did take Tua Tagovailoa. Now, if you guys know my personal philosophy, I would never take a quarterback in rounds 1 or 2 ever. I would never chase a quarterback. I would never trade up for a quarterback, but I would also take a quarterback every year in rounds 3 or later, depending on just how bad I really need one. Additionally, I personally wouldn't take Tua if I was going to take a first round quarterback, just simply because he's undersized and definitely has a pretty extensive injury history, and I am not yet convinced that the moves that they have made on the offensive line are going to be adequate. We do still have to wait and see if they decide to redshirt him. If he, gets thrown into the fire immediately. We do have to wait and see what they do in the rest of the draft, the second wave of free agency, and then how this team comes together. And of course, we have to wait and see if there's a 2020 season to begin with. So there's still a lot of answers that need to be gotten, a lot of questions that are still there, and so we will see. But they did pick Tua. I know the vast majority of the Dolphins fan base is probably ecstatic with that pick. Again, I wouldn't have done that, especially when you look at the way things played out. One of the people in my live stream noted that they could have taken, a top offensive lineman with pick 5, right? They wouldn't have had to trade up to do it or anything. Take, maybe Tristan Wirfs or what have you. They could have then taken either another offensive line and really rebuilt that offensive line. If you take 2 of the top prospects and then put that with Eric Flowers, who I do believe is overpaid for what we're going to get for him, and Ted Karras, who I thought was a solid signing at the center position, then you could actually have something there, especially too if they do end up still picking up one of the top running backs like DeAndre Swift or Jonathan Taylor or J.K. Dobbins. Those are all still available, and they pick at number 36 in the second round, which is 4 picks deep. So they could still pick up one of them. Anyway, maybe they could build something, but there's no guarantee that any of these guys are going to work out. And they did get an offensive lineman with the 18th overall pick. It was Austin Jackson. And then, their last pick, they traded back from pick number 26. They got a 4th rounder to do so, to drop down to pick number 30. So that's good. They accumulated another pick, so now they have 15 total as it stands right now in the 2020 draft. But then they took a quarterback, which was super strange to me and totally lost me, if I'm being honest. It doesn't make sense, especially when you have 2 of the highest paid corners in the league on your roster right now. Why would you then use a first round pick? Look, we have 3 first round picks right now. We're going to have another 2 next year, and then 1 after that, and then 1 after that. Ideally, you would like that these draft picks that you have hit and that they become stars or, very good players that do at the very least stick on your team for a long time, right? For years to come. But you're going to have to pay them all. And with the way that you already blew through your cap space, with the free agents that you have / all of the rookies that you have and hopefully the ones that become stars, maybe like Tua, whatever, they're going to end up with big paydays eventually or sizable contracts. So you could potentially have cap issues. Anyway, but the corner one just didn't make sense to me. Real quick, let's go ahead and get into some of these scouting reports, though. So the corner was Noah Igbenogany. I'm sorry, I'm totally butchering his name, but that is his name. And here's the scouting report. Strengths: he's athletic, he's physical, a physical quarterback with a good frame at 5'10", 198 pounds with 4.48 speed. Tough, feisty cover man who will hang in hip pockets of receivers no matter the route. Clicking close is easy for him. Smooth gliding runner who has burst and lateral agility. Poised and tough, a nice combination for a cornerback who can play in press coverage or off in zone, but has a ton of experience at the line of scrimmage. Excellent tackler who comes downhill in the run game and makes splash hits. Considerable positional upside with only 2 seasons playing cornerback. So, I mean, he does seem to have tons of upside, and he seems like he's a solid player overall, but when you have Xavier Howard and Byron Jones, who are two of the more or 2 of the top 3 highest paid corners, it's kind of mind-boggling. On top of that, I mean, I don't know. So we'll have to see. Let's just get through this and see what the scouting reports have to say, and then we'll just have to wait and see how it pans out. To me, it doesn't make sense. I wouldn't have done this, but this is what they did, the route they decided to go. Weaknesses: only 1 interception in college, raises questions about ball skills. So he seems to be, from what I've gathered, he seems to actually be similar to Byron Jones in that he's a pretty damn good cover guy, but he can't make turnovers to save his life. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know. Raw cornerback instincts and nuances, mostly a fast athlete running with receivers and playing physically. These are his weaknesses. Needs to clean up his technique, can only hope his read and react time will speed up. If it doesn't, that could be a problem on the next level. Trusts his speed too much and often finds himself trailing in coverage. That's potentially bad because he could get, lots of blown coverages, especially early on in his career while he's transitioning over, and especially with some of these fast guys like, Tyreek Hill and even guys that are on the Dolphins, right? Handsy at the route stem and will struggle with pass interference calls if he doesn't fix it. So that could also be an issue. Overall, they have him isn't as polished as some of the cornerbacks ranked ahead of him, but he's an intriguing athlete with all the tools to be a good pro. He can excel in a press man scheme, something he did a ton of in college, and has shown the fight to be a dog at the line of scrimmage and down the field in coverage. Expect him to work his way into a starting job quickly. So, I mean, he has some of the traits and stuff that they do ideally want, and I think it is good to, certainly I like corners that can play press man. And so, look, there is potential and upside there, but they have to, make sure to help him develop. And I mean, again, this one was confusing to me, but, as I've continued to say, I really hope that they prove me wrong in all this and that it doesn't backfire in the ways that I think it will, or certainly that it could. There are, potentials for that, but we'll see. This is their first round this year. I will say, though, that for the most part, I think it's better overall, even though I don't, the cornerback than last year, than their 2019 draft. The cornerback confused me, and I mean, we'll see. I just need more information. I need to see the kid. We just need to see. It just doesn't make sense. We have so many other needs. I mean, they could have taken Josh Jones. Still isn't, off the board. They could have taken Josh Jones and gotten another tackle, and really helped to shore up that offensive line. They could have got a pass rusher. They could have got Xavier McKinney, who's still on the board, the top safety in the draft, and, help shore up that secondary. There were so many other things they could have done instead of this guy, but okay. Anyway, so they did get a player on the offensive line. I personally would have taken one with the 5th overall pick and got somebody like Andrew Thomas or Tristan Wirfs, but instead they waited until the 18th overall pick after obviously taking Tua with the 5th, and they got Austin Jackson. And here's the scouting report on him. Strengths: checks the boxes from a height, weight, length perspective at 6'5", 322 pounds with 34 and 1/8 inch arms. Impressive athlete with a mean streak to match. Easy mover with good natural upside to improve with better technique. Footwork is light and quick. 2-year starter at left tackle in a pro-style offense. Very young prospect who is still maturing physically. So that all tells me that he does have some of the base skills and things that he needs, especially to hopefully get to the second level and allow our running backs to really, break some longer runs. And Tua as well if he needs to, if, that's the case. And especially, too, if they were to pick up a guy like, Swift or Dobbins. But also that he has a ton of upside and has a high ceiling and, could, really grow into that role. Now, Tua is a left-handed quarterback, so his blind side is the right tackle. So it's not as, important of a position for a left-handed quarterback. The blind side tackle is the more important one, but your bookends are obviously both super important. Anyway, so weaknesses: was abused by Iowa defensive end A.J. Epineza in the team's bowl game. Oversets too much with his outside foot and allows ends to counter his inside shoulder and win way too often. So that could be potentially problematic because even though it's not his blind side, if Tua was to be put into the lineup right away behind the theoretical offensive line that is developing and he starts letting up too many sacks on the pro level as a starter, that could be very problematic. Needs to add strength in his lower body and his punch. Inconsistent strength on tape. Tended to dominate smaller pass rushers to only struggle against more balanced players. Overall, Jackson is a tale of two different tapes. That worries me. I don't like that. I don't like guys that are like super hot and then super cold. It's because it's not good for consistency. Anyway, against NFL caliber pass rushers, he really struggled, especially to match strength, but he dominated most Pac-12 competition in his 2 years experience on the left side. That will be intriguing as he makes his NFL start. So, I mean, look, all of these guys, Tua, I think the smarter thing would be, if there is a season that is played, to redshirt him behind Ryan Fitzpatrick. But I think that he will likely be in, he will be in the lineup sooner rather than later. I hope not, because, look, I would like to see what he can do just as much as anybody, but the more important thing is making sure he's healthy, and that's one of my biggest concerns with him. So I would personally rather give him more time, even though he apparently has all the most glowing reports you could possibly have, etc., especially with a young offensive line that would be, coming into their own and learning how to play together, etc. But we'll see how it plays out. He has a comparison, by the way, to Jawan James, interestingly enough, and Cam Robinson. So I think that's kind of funny, because obviously Jawan James used to be on the team. Real quick, Desmond Trufant and Byron Murphy is who the Noah kid has been compared to. All right, and then finally, let's go ahead and get to the scouting report on Tua Tagovailoa to wrap this up. Strengths: exceptional touch thrower with elite accuracy from the pocket and on the move, sees the entire field and is able to get through reads and progressions. Deadly accuracy and ability to lead receivers up the field and into daylight. Anticipation is top tier NFL level already. Tough field general who will play through injury. He's kind of had to because he's had tons of them. Has above average mobility and will tuck the ball and run when the coverage locks down receivers. Deep ball shows touch and arc to drop over defenders. Throws well in the move, especially rolling left, and can keep the play alive by leaving the pocket. Doesn't turn the ball over. Weaknesses: major injury questions after 2 high ankle sprains in 18 and 19, and dislocated hip in 19 with the posterior wall fracture, as well as a concussion and a broken nose as well. And I think he also had some minor hand injuries. played with an all-world supporting cast with potentially 4 first-rounders at wide receiver, so there is that to be taken into account. Arm strength is average and not naturally strong, is a violent thrower who uses entire body to add torque. That can be problematic on the next level. On the small side at 6 foot, 217 pounds, also could be very problematic, especially with the injury history he has. Not just the amount of injuries, but the types of injuries, especially on this next level, at the pro level, with the size and speed that is going to be coming at him from the defensive side. Takes a lot of hits trying to extend the play outside the pocket. Footwork gets lazy, would benefit from squaring to throw given limited arm strength. Overall, the best natural thrower in the 2020 draft class, even though they say that his arm strength is not natural. Okay. Tua Tagovailoa has awesome accuracy and field vision, but has serious injury questions heading into the NFL. If healthy, he easily could become the best quarterback of this year's class, but players who are injured often in college generally become injured often in the NFL. Medicals will be the biggest determining factor in how successful he is in the NFL. And ironically enough, these are his pro comparisons. Drew Brees and Ryan Tannehill. That's kind of funny comparisons. Drew Brees, because I will say Brees is certainly the better quarterback over Ryan Tannehill, although I do believe Ryan Tannehill is a great quarterback. Brees certainly is better and has the better pedigree, etc. But that's partly funny because Brees is the quarterback, obviously, that the Dolphins famously passed up on because of his injury history and then went on to have a great career. And obviously Ryan Tannehill was the former first-round pick of the Dolphins. So there's that, who now is, doing wonderful things with the Tennessee Titans. So that's what I got for you guys. And like I said, I'm going to add in, there were some press conferences. they're not going to be with this video. I am doing this recording as of, Thursday night. So, and I will be getting the press conferences recorded and added into my videos like I used to do for you guys. So you will have those again so you can watch them for yourself. You'll have all the press conferences in one place. I'll do, the interviews with the coaches, the players, as those come up, so on and so forth. But I'll be doing that in the morning, and so you won't get the video until, probably Friday morning at some point, maybe late Friday morning on the West Coast. So maybe like early afternoon, East Coast time for that. And then I will obviously be doing my live stream for day 2, rounds 2 and 3. We have 3 picks, 2 second rounders and a third rounder. And so I would like to see, honestly, I don't know yet who I would like to see for the third rounder, and it obviously kind of depends on the previous 2, but I would like to see them take either Dobbins or Swift with the 36th overall pick, and then pick up another offensive lineman with the 59th overall pick. Alright guys, with that, I'm going to get up out of here. I hope you guys enjoy my videos and perspective. I hope you guys enjoy, the interviews. Make sure you get those coming up next. And if you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comment section. And of course, as always, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.
Welcome to Miami Cuno from CBS4 here. I wanted to ask you, you seem like a Brian Flores type of guy. How much interaction do you have with the Dolphins going throughout this entire draft process?
I met with them at my pro day. Had a long, we all had a big meeting with them. It was me and a couple other my teammates. And that's really the only really the type of communication I really had with them. So not saying it was a surprise, but it was definitely, I wasn't looking. I wasn't looking at them, but my agent said it the whole time though. So who knows? It's just God. So it's some blessings either way.
Sorry, 1 second. Joe Shad.
Hey Noah, welcome to South Florida. Good place to live, trust me. How do you feel about joining a team that has Davian Howard and Byron Jones, 2 stars at corner?
That's something. It's truly a blessing. It's crazy because those are 2 corners I've looked at for a very long time. I know they don't know that, but those are probably one of the top 2 cornerbacks in this whole entire league. Just to come in and learn from them, that's just a blessing in disguise. And so I'm honored to be picked by the Miami Dolphins. I'm just ready to go in there and compete. Do what I have to do.
This is the year they're gonna have to
The
prove
Dolphins.
me wrong.
Have the Dolphins said where they'd like to, in terms of slot maybe?
No, they haven't said anything. They haven't said nothing to me about that at all. It was just congratulations call me, really all it was, not really about position or anything like that. But I'm willing to play anything. They need me to play anything they want me to play. That's the type of player I've always been. So that's up to my coaches.
Travis.
Hey, what's up, Noah? It's Travis. Got a question here from a fan. Lucas from Rockford, Illinois wants to know, what excites you most about joining the rest of the players in the Dolphins secondary?
Just like the first question, just coming into a room that's very experienced and have a lot of competitors in the room. Just the atmosphere in the room that the coach has created. I'm honored to grow into that, become as a player. So it's just an honor. That's generally how I feel.
Cam Wolf.
Hey Noah, congrats. I wanted to ask you. I know you're Nigerian. You're raised in a Nigerian household. How was that growing up, and especially with your parents who were top tier athletes?
Mm-hmm. It was. I'll say it was rough at times, just because of the Nigerian background. I know a lot of people don't understand that, but it's a different way of living, I would say. I really didn't get to do a lot of things I say a normal teenager would like to do, as far as going out with my friends and stuff like that. But that's just something I had to sacrifice if I wanted to be here and talking to you today. And so their plan works. They're very, very protective parents. Their plan worked at the end of the day. I am the man I am because of them. And so it's a blessing just to grow up in this household. This happened, so it worked out, I guess.
Mike Cunha.
Noah, last year in Coach Flores' first year with the Dolphins, he seemed to move cornerbacks around, play multiple positions on the field. I'm just kind of curious at Auburn, did you do much of that, or were you kind of locked into one position?
I was just locked in that corner, to be honest with you.
Cam.
Yeah, I was just what's your comfort level? I know you were a receiver early in your career. Where do you think you are in your cornerback comfort, and how much do you still have to learn?
I'm very comfortable, and that's why I'm here, and that's why my aim is after me. I'm not being cocky or anything like that. I'm very humble, very confident in my abilities, and that's a part of the reason why I came out. I've been working this whole entire offseason up to this point. Now I'm going to continue to work until this COVID-19 situation kind of dies down a little bit. And so I'm not going to be the player. I'm going to be a whole different type of player that I was, that you've seen in Auburn, which is Minnesota. So which is our last game. So I'm just ready for y'all to show y'all the improvement I made over these last couple of months. My coaches as well. So I guess y'all see.
I was wondering if you remember anything that Coach Brian Flores or the defensive coordinator Josh Boyer visited with either one of those guys that maybe resonated with you.
It was just a normal interview. It wasn't really nothing they said out of the blue that I haven't heard anywhere else. So it wasn't really nothing out of the ordinary or anything different.
Hey, Noah, it's Travis again. I wanted to ask you a question about your time as a two-sport athlete in Auburn. You were both a track star and a football star down there at Auburn. And there was an article about you on The Athletic that mentioned that you had an opportunity to skip practices during the springtime at Auburn for the football team, but you chose not to do that because you wanted to be on the football field. Can you talk to us about how much you love the game?
Again, that just shows how I feel about this game. I started playing football when I was in 7th grade. Track is something that's been in my life in a very long time, as you imagine. Both my parents went to the Olympics, so that's something I kind of had to grow into. But football, when I caught on to it, it's something that really caught my heart. really, so I really feel like it's something that I was meant to do. I was born to do, and that's why all this stuff started happening. Football got me here as well, so it was a blessing. But as far as just me coming back to football during track season, we're doing that track season. Football was something I was all excited to get back to, just like now. I can't wait to get back on the field. And at that time, the track, yes, that's something. Track is something I love as well, but football is something I feel like it's a different kind of love. It's a deeper love, and it's really taught me about this life as well. And so that probably goes to the reason why I would go back to football season and track, and I'll go right back to track after that, right back to football. And so I made a commitment to my team. I stuck up to it, and so.
Campbell.
Hey, no, I just wanted to go back to what you mentioned earlier. I know you said it was kind of difficult growing up in a Nigerian household. How has your relationship with your parents kind of evolved as you've kind of grown older, and how has their maybe background in pro sports, helped you through this?
It's definitely my relationship with my parents is great. Of course, it grew. The understanding how they raised, because I believe you're gonna teach your kids as you was raised, as your parents taught you. And so there's just a lot of things that they didn't know, and a lot of things that their parents taught them from Nigeria. So they kind of brought that Nigerian way of living over here. And so I couldn't blame that for nothing, even though I was at a young age. But now looking back at it, they got me here. Now I'm able to separate myself from the pack. And so it was a big thanks to them. And so they're the reason I'm here. So I love them both.
We'll do one more question with Travis.
Yeah, no, I want to talk to you a little bit about your press cover skills on the outside. You really get in guys' faces and seem to take it as a challenge to yourself to really play physical brand of football on the outside. What about the position really, or what about that type of style of play do you really like? What makes you want to play that physical style of play on the outside?
Well, first and foremost, it was something that when I moved positions, it was something our defense at Auburn, that's what we pride ourselves on. Especially, I remember Coach still telling me when I met with him, that's the type of corners he likes. And so as me, I never played corner before, so of course I didn't know that's the type of player I was going to be. But I don't know why, for some reason when I moved, I remember being a receiver, and I knew how mad I was when a physical corner get in my face, be in my face, and be physical with me. So I kind of just transitioned that, because I knew a lot of our receivers don't like that, I can't handle that, and that's exactly why I do that. It's just a chess game. That's all this game is.
Austin, Mike Cunio from CBS 4 here. First of all, your reaction to getting selected here in the first round, and what's the pressure going to be like to have to protect potentially a franchise quarterback?
It's no pressure at all. I'm glad I'm with a great team, and a team that believes in me, and I'm just really excited to get out there with the guys and build something special.
Cam Wolf.
Hey, Austin, we've heard a little bit of your story about your sister. Can you share with us a little bit about maybe something we don't know about that experience for you, and maybe how that's changed you and your family?
Yeah, it was a big procedure for my family. We've, Autumn has had her situation, her blood disease for a long time, and it's just a real big relief on all of us to know that she's feeling better. We're really happy about it.
Sorry about that, guys. Omar?
What obviously you've known about her issues for a while. How many years is that? And what went into your thought process for knowing that you could possibly help save her life?
We've known about it, I say probably her whole life. So, you're looking at like 18 years there. So pretty much my whole life too. We've always known about the condition. And, it feels good to be able to help. That's all I can say. Just, there's no better feeling.
Mike Cunio.
Austin, I want to ask you, because you are a relatively young guy, 20 years old, but 6'5". Do you feel you have more room to grow, and where in your game would you like to see more improvements?
Definitely I think there's a lot more room to grow. I feel like since I've made the decision to leave and train for the NFL, my strength and athleticism has just gone up 10 times what it was, and I feel like getting in and around NFL locker room with NFL guys, I feel like there's just more knowledge to learn and gain. So I think the ceiling is incredibly high, and I think I could get as much as I put into it, which would be a lot.
Lewis?
So now, with Tua Tagovailoa being the quarterback picked by the Dolphins, and he's projected to be the franchise quarterback, that means that his blind side is now the right side. Do you think you could see yourself playing right tackle since you spent most of your college career on the left?
Definitely. I've played both tackle positions my whole life. I've played guard. I've played everywhere on the line. I don't have an ego that tells me I'm only a left tackle. I'm a football player at the end of the day. I like to play football and help out the team any way I can.
We're gonna go to Travis.
Hey, what's going on, Austin? Got a question here from a fan. Joseph in St. Louis wants to know, what are you most looking forward to about playing for the Dolphins?
What am I looking forward to the most? I gotta say, walking into the stadium on Sundays. Growing up, being a kid, and waking up and just watching football all day, and then going from waking up on Sunday and getting up and going to work is it's just crazy how life is. I'm really excited for that.
And then we have a second question from Tehran in Valley Center, Kansas. Asks, what motivates you, Austin?
What motivates me? I think what motivates me the most is just the opportunity that I have with football. I love the game more than anything, and I feel like it's just taking my life to places I've never imagined it before. Incredibly thankful for the game and the great people I meet along the way, coaches, teammates, fans, etc. All of it.
Tua, congrats on landing in Miami. I want to ask you, when you heard your name called and when you got that call from the Dolphins, what first crossed your mind?
Man, that it was a dream come true, man, to be able to have this opportunity. I mean, I'd honestly like to just thank, owner Stephen Ross. I'd like to thank GM Chris Greer. I also like to thank Coach Flores. I mean, for giving me this opportunity. This is special for not just me, but for my family as well.
Next, we're going to go with Hal.
Hi, Tua. Thanks for joining us and congratulations. What are going to be your plans now, given the distance and where you are? When do you expect to come to Miami? Where are you going to spend most of your training leading up to training camp?
Well, with the given circumstances, I'm just gonna be talking to the coaches, kind of seeing how we're gonna go about doing things as an organization. And I mean, from there, really, we just gotta hope and pray that everything works out, and that, I mean, we can get back to spending time as a team. I think for me, the most important thing is probably getting everyone's phone number on the team and just creating relationships. Maybe starting out with the quarterbacks and then working my way down to the linemen, or starting with the linemen, but just creating relationships a little at a time, especially during times like this. It's hard, so I think that'd be best.
We're going to go to Omar next.
Tua, you said earlier that you felt confident that you could play in 2020. What makes you confident? And did the Dolphins talk to you about what their plans for you were?
Well, I think what makes me confident in the aspect of me being able to play would be what the doctors have told me. As far as rehab, as far as the medical rechecks, I've checked off all the boxes, and so that's what I've been really standing on, and that's kind of what I've been going with. That's why I would say I've been really encouraged to say that I'm able to play if need be. But I think the biggest thing for me right now is just being able to take it in, soak it in, enjoy it with my family, and get to work.
Chris Perkins.
Hey, Tua, I'm not sure if you've kept up with all of the fans' expectations and hopes and dreams with you, but are you prepared to deal with that? And do you think at any time you would ever tell the fans to chill out, or would you tell them, keep hyping me up, let's enjoy this?
Man, I think that's something that is out of my control. I can't control whether the fans like me, whether the fans dislike me. And so for me, I'd say it's all about worrying about what I can control. I could Dolphins, but it's what you do from here on out. It's how you do. I mean, you just look forward to getting your playbook, understanding it, trying to get good at it. And if an opportunity is presented, possible.
Go to Mike Cunha.
Hey, Tua, congrats on being selected by the Dolphins. First of all, just kind of curious, working and playing at Alabama, obviously the spotlight's on you there. It's obviously the biggest program in the nation. How do you think that's helped prepare you for the NFL?
Well, I would say I think Alabama's prepared me with how hard everything was there. It wasn't just the workouts. It wasn't just the guys you were competing against, but it was also the coaching. It was also your nutrition. It was just everything. Your academics, everything was made hard. And it was really about embracing hard and kind of how you become successful through those hard times.
Adam Beasley.
Tua, congratulations and welcome to Miami. What are your goals as a quarterback in the National Football League?
Man, I would say, first off, I just want to be able to get the ball rolling as far as understanding my plays. I just want to know my plays, build relationships in the quarterback room, build relationships with guys in the locker room, and also getting to know more about the coaching staff and building relationships with them as well.
Somebody?
Gonna go to Mike Girardi.
Tua, congratulations. I just wanted to ask you, in terms of this process, was there any frustration with all the talk about your health and whether or not that hip was going to hold up and if it might drop you down board? Did you get a little nervous there at points?
I would say I didn't get nervous at all. For me and my family, the biggest thing was whoever decided to take a chance on us, whoever decided to pick me up, that's where I belonged. And like I said, I'm very grateful and honored that I have this opportunity to play for this organization. My biggest thing is I'm trying to prove that this is the right decision for the organization.
Safid.
Hey, Tua, how would you say your relationship or your developing relationship with Brian Flores and Chris Greer has gone throughout this draft process leading up to tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's continuing to grow, and that's my biggest thing. You know, we created it at the combine, and I got to talk to Coach Flores and Chris, as well as Stephen Ross on Zoom calls, maybe about 3 times in 1 month. So once every week almost. So I got to speak to them and build my relationship in that sense. But now that I'm a part of the organization, it can only go up from here.
Joe Shad.
Hey, Tua, congratulations. I wanted to ask, how will you approach having a 37-year-old veteran quarterback like Ryan Fitzpatrick available to you, and what, if anything, do you know about Ryan?
Oh man, I would say it's first off just being able to understand the kind of person he is. I know he's been a great leader for this organization. He's been a great team player. You know, and I mean, guys like that, he's played behind Jameis Winston, and then he has an opportunity to play here. He has so much knowledge of the game to where, you know, I think it's best that I pick him, you know, nitpick him, ask him, you know, how he goes about preparing for a defense. What are the differences between, you know, this and just being able to question him and learn under him, I think is going to be my biggest thing.
Jarrett Bell.
Hey, hi, Tua. How you doing? Congratulations on your pick.
Thank you.
Yeah, so last year there was all of this talk about tank for Tua. How did that strike you back when that was going on? And then how ironic is it that you end up with the Dolphins?
It's not, dude. It's not.
Yeah, I would say the funniest thing is I haven't really heard too much of it last year. It was more so after the national championship from our loss to Clemson.
Right.
When I heard most of it. But, you know, that's I would say, you know, that's yes, I'm very grateful and honored that the fans think so highly of me. But I mean, it's a different ball game. You know, what I did in college can't translate to the NFL. It's a clean slate. And so what I got to do is I got to go out there and earn my respect and earn the trust from my teammates. It's really not. It's how you go about.
Cam Wolf.
Hey, Tua, how familiar are you with Dan Marino and the Dolphins' past? And have you thought about what number you may have to pick, because 13 might be off the books?
Oh yeah, for me, I'm not too worried about what number I have. You know, I understand number 13 is retired, and I mean it should be. You know, Dan Marino, he's a GOAT. He's like mayor out there, and I have much respect for him. You know, but whatever number I'm given by that organization, if it's 78, 99, you know, which is, I'll wear it. You know, it doesn't matter. I just want to have an go out there and have some fun spinning balls.
Adam Beasley.
Do you expect to compete to start this year? Do you expect to compete to play, or have they told you that this is going to be a redshirt year for you?
I just expect to go out there. I'm going to go out there and compete as if I'm preparing to be the starter, even if I'm not going to be a starter right away or, you know, the entire season. But I think that has to be the mindset, you know, because you go in there and competition is usually always healthy. It's usually always healthy, and you not only get yourself better by doing it, but you get the other guy better, and you get the entire quarterback room better that way.
Omar?
What has this year been like for you? I mean, with so much expectation about you coming out in the draft, and then the 2 injuries, and now, the rehab and this whole draft process, if you had to put this in words to maybe your grandkids 40 years from now, what would you tell them this was like?
Man, I would tell them this has probably been the hardest process for me to go through. I've gone through a lot, with making this decision. I went to Nashville. I went through that tornado that came through. My car got destroyed. I'm going through rehab during that process, and then there's a lot of uncertainty at the same time. There's just a lot of things piling up. So I just tell them that was probably this was probably the most difficult time for me in my life.
Chris Perkins.
But
wow, Tua. I was going to ask you about your injury history, and do you think you should have still been the #1 drafted quarterback? But tell me about your car being destroyed in Nashville. What happened there?
Yeah, so it was I believe it was March 3rd. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning. Sirens were going off, and I was sleeping. And I ended up waking up to like, I guess, warnings on my phone. And like right when I woke up, about 3-4 minutes later, a tornado just swoops right over my complex, destroys my car and everything there. So it was pretty bad.
We're gonna go to Travis, who has a question from a fan from our draft party right now.
Hey, what's going on, Tua? This comes in from Jason from Fort Myers. What would you say your best attribute from an intangible standpoint is?
Oh, that's a good question, Jason. Man, for me, I've said this many times. I'm not one to really speak on myself or really speak about what I'm good at. I try to let others do that. So yeah, I'm not too sure. I just like to go out there, compete, have fun, and then try my best to win games.
Travis, you want to go with the second one there?
Sir, this is from Stephanie from Miami. What are you looking forward to most about playing in Miami?
Oh man, I played there once. I played there against Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl. But man, I'm just looking forward to an opportunity to play in front of the fans. Play with my new teammates. Just kind of get the feel of everything, get into the groove with everything.
All right, guys, we're going to do 2 more. Right now, we're going to go with Hal.
Tua, tell us about the phone call when the Dolphins called you and said they're picking you. Who'd you talk to? How'd that conversation go?
Yeah, I got to talk to everyone. I got to talk to Coach Flores. I got to talk to the GM, Chris Greer. I got to talk to the owner, Stephen Ross. And man, it was awesome. It was very emotional for me and my family. It hasn't just been a dream of mine to make this happen. It's been my entire family's dream. And I'm blessed to say that I carry all of them up here with me.
Final question for Ruthie.
Congratulations. I'm curious what Brian Flores has told you about what he's trying to build in Miami and how you feel like you can contribute to the culture, the mindset, whatever it is that he's told you about.
Well, I would say what Coach Flores said was, I want you to know that we think you're very special. They think highly of me. But they were just really excited. Being on the phone call with him, he was just really excited. And then he also had his kids. He also had his kids kind of hop on the phone and kind of say hello and say congratulations. So that was pretty cool.
What was it about him that really set him apart and made him the right selection for this franchise at 5?
I just, we've always talked about going through the process, and as Brian, myself, the coaching staff and scouts, watching him for a couple years and finally getting to, meet him at the combine and get to know him and find out, what type of person he really is, which we all heard great things, but when you really get to sit down and talk to people and know them, you don't really truly know them. I think for us, it was just going through our process. And, there are a lot of talented players. And, we really liked Tua, and we felt very comfortable at the end of the day that he would be a fit here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very similar to Chris. He fit a lot of the criteria we talk about at the quarterback position. Good player, good person, leadership qualities. We're very happy with the pick.
Steve Wine.
Chris, with his injury history, how much of a gamble do you think this pick is for the Dolphins?
Steve, like we talked about before, football is a violent game. The guys are going to get hurt. And, so for us, we did a lot of work on them, as we do with every player, training staff and doctors, led by Kyle Johnson, a fantastic job. And so we're very comfortable.
Adam Beasley.
How did you guys decide on Tua? You obviously had some options at quarterback at 5. Well, why did he win out over the other options you had?
I mean, I would say, just going through our process, obviously we have a criteria at every position. So the same with Tua, the same with Austin Jackson, the same with Noah. We're happy with all 3 selections, comfortable with all 3 guys, but specific to the quarterback, there were a lot of good players at that position. We talked about every one of them, and we did our homework on every one of them. We had a Zoom meeting, for multiple days, multiple weeks. At the end of the day, we felt like that was the best choice for the Miami Dolphins.
They don't say shit.
Cameron Wolf.
Hey guys, I wanted to ask, I know that, how did you guys navigate maybe the reports in the smoke screen season, so to speak? It seemed like every single day there was something new coming out. How did you guys handle that and your decision to kind of stick at number 5 and believe Tua would be there?
Yeah, for us, we're just, we always talked about going through our process and doing it. And, Brian and I had a few laughs and a lot of stuff that came out. And end of the day, you block it out. You just, we go through our process and we keep talking about it. But it is, and that's what it is. It starts in their play on the field, and then the postseason, all-star games, combine, and interviews and work and all that stuff. So for us, it's just noise on the outside and kind of work through it and just kind of go through our process.
Yeah, I mean, like Chris said, we didn't know what a lot of this stuff was coming from, to be honest. So, I mean, you guys probably know better than we do as far as, where this information was coming from, but it was very interesting, to say the least. And something we talked about really on a daily basis. Did you see that? Did you hear this? That's interesting. So, that's really more my question to you guys, is where did all this come from?
You guys are idiots, dude.
Guys, I kind of want to ask you about that last pick there at 30 with Noah. What made you guys want to go with a corner there? Obviously, you guys got 2 pretty good ones on your team already.
Best player on the board for us. We felt really good about Noah. We got to know him. This is a passing league, as everyone says. You never have enough corners. And look historically at the best defenses, and and Brian came from a really good defensive team. We hired him, and they had a lot of corners. And at the end of the day, the way this league is offensively, it's a premium position, and the more you have, the better. And it just breeds competition. You're a competitive kid that we like in the process.
I just say that's something Chris and we've always been on the same page as far as never having enough corners in this league. With the receivers, receivers going off the board today. There was a lot of good ones. So we got to defend those guys, and we feel good about all the corners we have on our roster. And we felt like we an opportunity to add one.
And I
another good
agree
one,
with
and
some of that, but
that played a role in the
like
decision.
that probably wasn't the time to take a corner.
Chris Perkins.
The best ones.
Yeah,
the
to
first
both
round-
of you guys,
the
how
first round
close
corners
were you
already
to
came
trading
off the
up to number 3? How close were you to trading up from number 18?
You know, with us, we make calls every year in the league about opportunities, do our due diligence. You know, Ryan really believes in that as well. So, you know, from us and our staff, you know, we're calling everyone and just doing homework, you know, opportunities. So we talked to everybody. There was nothing definitive with anyone, but we call every team just like we do every year. The opportunities moving up and down, but no, there was nothing definitive.
Yeah, I mean, we, you know, like Chris said, we listen up, you know, all offers. We feel good about something. We talk it through, hear the pros, hear the cons to making a move like this, up or down, and we really just hash it out. Chris, myself, and you know the rest of the scouting staff. Who I'd say, you know, I would say over the course of this entire, you know, the fall, the spring, those guys did an excellent job, just getting us the right information. And just going through countless meetings, you know, agreements, disagreements, and just trying to get everybody on the same page. So I'd say our scouting department did a really nice job there. And I think that played a large role in us feeling comfortable, you know, making the selections, going up, going down. We had a, I would say, you know, from my standpoint, we had a good game plan.
Adam Beasley.
With Tua, will he have any health restrictions going forward? Whenever it is you guys can get back on the field, do you expect him to participate fully? And if so, do you see him competing for a starting job in 2020?
Well, I'll say my kids are expecting him. You know, they're big fans. They were excited to get on a phone call with him. But look, you know, Adam, we haven't even seen him. You know, obviously, with the pandemic and all that's going on, you know, we've never, our doctors haven't seen him. So I mean, we're a long way to go before we can say, you know, who's doing what year. So, you know, we'd like to just get him and have a meeting first. So, I think it's way too early to you know, speculate on, you know, this year and how this is going to go. You know, you guys know we like to take it one day at a time approach anyway. So, you know, that's going to be the approach we're going to have him take as well.
Jarrett Bell.
Yeah, how you guys doing? Just to follow up on what you're just talking about, Brian and Chris too, can you shed some light on how challenging this decision was, especially with Tua, a quarterback, given the pandemic and you didn't have the time to have as much face-to-face time as you normally would have? And the second part of my question, as it related to Tua, is the independent specialists that you use to get further clearance on his hip. Shed some light on what that was like.
For us, it was, again, it's our normal process, and I know people won't believe that, but it is. It's, you know, we spend a lot of time finding out about the player background. Like Brian said, the scouts do a fantastic job of the background information and putting us in touch with the people to talk to. You know, Brian and coaches and scouts, you know, coaches on that staff who have been there and have left. And so we do a lot of work, just like we do on every play. And so for us, I know the FaceTime, you know, having them in person, not seeing them, but as Brian said, the coaches did a great job of spending time with him, you know, on Zoom meetings in the spring here, getting to know him, met with the combine. So we, you know, we felt very comfortable. And then again, our doctors and trainers did a lot of work on him, just like anyone. And so for us, it wasn't that decision for us to make that one.
David.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about Austin Jackson. I know, you know, Tua being left-handed might be important to get right tackle. Austin's played left tackle most of his career. Do you guys see him as a option at right tackle? Do you see Jesse Davis as the option at right tackle? I know it's still pretty early in the draft here, but how do you guys kind of address the other tackle and interior lineman positions in the next 2 days?
Well, I think really what we're trying to do is get a good player. So left tackle, right tackle. But I think at the end of the day, we want to bring in good players onto this team who will work and compete. To talk about starting positions. I mean, these guys have never been in an NFL locker room. I think that's asking them a lot. I think we just take it day to day, and that's the message I'm always going to send to all of our players, especially young players. I mean, there's a lot to learn as far as getting to know your teammates, getting to know our coaches, getting to know our terminology, how we do things. So there's a lot to learn. So before we start talking about who's starting, who's playing left or right, I think for each rookie and really every player, let's just take this one day at a time, try to improve, try to get better, and hopefully if we string good days together, then we'll see some of the fruits of that labor.
All right, guys, we're going to do the final question with Cam Wolf right now.
Hey, guys, I know that there was a report that you guys tried to trade up for Joe Burrow. I wanted to see if you guys could speak to the accuracy of that and whether it was a tough decision at 5 to choose Tua over Herbert.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we made our calls to everyone. So yes, we reached out just again to see if they were interested, and so yes, we talked to everyone, every team in the league, and I'll tell you that no different. Every team makes these calls, and so yes, we reached out, and again, the decision to take Tua, Justin's a really good player. We enjoyed getting to know him as well, and at the end of the day, when we were making our decision, we like both players a lot, and we just felt Tua was the guy for us.
Nothing to add from me there. I think Chris and I were, we're really on the same page the entire time here as far as process, the meetings, the medical, the conversations about moving up, moving down. I mean, we were really, I would say, in lockstep the whole way. So, and we still got a long way to go. I mean, we're going to, after we get off this new Zoom, we're going to talk again and get going on for tomorrow and Saturday. So there's a lot more work to be done. This is obviously the first of 3 total days, and there's a lot more work to be done here. We got a slew of picks remaining. Tomorrow's a big day. Saturday's going to be a big day. We're just going to try to make the best decisions for this organization.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the interviews and the press conferences. If you did, and if you like my show, my perspective, my channel, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comment section. And of course, as always, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Phins up.